Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! It's been so long since I put on an Eagles jersey. We got the Sixers in the playoffs. The Phillies making extreme moves and having some successful baseball early on here through 17 games. I haven't really had that juice and that pump up for the Philadelphia Eagles, but here we go. A nice schedule release. That'll do it for me. A nice schedule release. We have the NFL draft coming up. 2-3 years ago in Philadelphia where we didn't have Sixers basketball, we didn't have Phillies to talk about, we would have been talking about the draft for literally 3-4 weeks, and it would have been insane. I forgot the draft was even coming up. That's how distracted I've been from the other squads, which is a great thing, but a schedule release, that'll get my juice going. That'll get my passion out of me, and I am so pumped up about it. We will dissect the 17 weeks. We will talk about some little things that occur in this season. I just want to mention this because I follow a lot of beat writers and I hear a lot of noise on Twitter, Philly Sports Radio. That's what I listen to all day. I truly do love it and chasing the dream. But one thing I notice is there are some fans out there that are really upset with this part of the schedule, that part of the schedule, teams coming off buys and the road trip. And the only thing I'll say about that is it's the NFL, right? Every team is going to have a road trip. Every team is going to have a tough portion of the schedule. That's just how it works. It's the National Football League. No Sundays are going to be easy. Now, granted, a home game against the Buffalo Bills compared to an away game against the New England Patriots, of course there's a difference. But all around, everyone has their spots of their specific schedule that is going to be tougher than the rest of their schedule. That's just reality. So with that being said, we're going to attack those parts of the schedule, and we're going to run down the weeks and do our W's and L's. And listen, as a football fan, that's just something you do. As an Eagles fan, you see the schedule, you go down, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Like, that's what you do. That's part of being a football fan, understanding that every year is so different when it comes to teams, and understanding that none of this actually means literally everything. There's always a team you say you're going to beat that you lose to. There's always a team you think you're going to lose to but you beat. It's just so random. Not random, but you know, when you go through this, it never comes out exactly the way you do it, obviously, but it's just fun. It's fun. It's part of being a football fan. So let's kick this bad boy off. We're going to go old school, a little pen to paper, if you will. So week 1, we host Washington. And I'm going to give this a nice solid W for the boys. It's a nice game to kind of ease into the season. It's a lot easier than, say, what the Steelers have to deal with the New England Patriots or something like that, of course. So, you know, you get Washington, a division rival, at home. The place is going to be electric. You're going up against a team that you should be able to take care of business against. So we're going to give them a solid W, and we start the season off 1-0. Week 2, we go to Atlanta. We go to Atlanta. This is a Sunday night football game. And I have a star next to this because I personally believe this is such an iffy game. It can go either way. But say we finish 11-5 throughout the season, right? This could be the difference of 11-5 and 12-4. That's the power of this game. And it's so early into the season, too. So I'm just saying, this is a game I think can go either way. And I know that the Falcons haven't really reached the potential since the Super Bowl breakdown, but this game is so year to year. This league is so year to year. You never know. I just think it's a tough game to go in there in Sunday Night Football, but I am going to give this team a win. I'm not going to knock them out and say they can't win this football game. I think it's going to be a close dogfight battle, and it has the potential to be the difference in, 11-5 or 12-4, or the difference between 10-6 and 11-5. But we'll go with the victory. We are 2-0 on the season in Broge's book. The Lions come to the link. W. All right? W. A 3-0. A 3-0 start for your Philadelphia Eagles. But here we go. We're going to Lambeau on Thursday night. And I don't know if the Packers are still that elite squad. They obviously have Aaron Rodgers, which you can never count out. A new head coach coming in. It's a totally different team. How are they going to address everything? You still have their problems with, clearly with Aaron Rodgers, they never had a strong running game. And was their defense always the problem and all of that as of the recent Packers? But I think it's just going to be a tough environment out there. It's Lambeau Field in week 4. At least it's not Lambeau Field in December, which is such a difference maker. So that gives me a little bit more optimism. But a road game, we start the season off 3-0. We're going to take the L in Lambeau. And after 4, we're 3-1, which I think we will be very acceptable of that. We will accept that record. The Jets at home. And this is a more improved Jets team. You get Le'Veon Bell. They made some moves. They have Sam Darnold in their second year. But not enough to take down the Eagles at home. Not enough to come into the Link and beat us. This crazy fan base in our building. Not happening. A big-time victory there. We are 4-1. So here's the tough stretch. After the first 5 weeks, we have a 3-game road trip. And that's a lot. That's absurd in the NFL, right? But you hear the news out there now that that's actually because of the Phillies. They thought about the Phillies in October. They thought about what if the Phillies are playing in the World Series in October and we have to have South Philadelphia all hyped up for a Eagles game and a World Series game at the same time. They actually thought about that and decided, let's just put the Eagles away in October during that time. It's crazy. That's actually absurd that it got to that level. That's great for the Phillies that they think that in advancing, wow, the Phillies might be able to do it, which is cool. But that is why. There are reports out there stating the NFL thought about that, and that's why they did this. So this is our tough stretch. It's tough. We're going to Minnesota, a team that hates us. That's a hated rivalry right now. We go into their building, win a Super Bowl. We taunt them the whole time, beating them in the NFC Championship. Now we got to go back. Now, I'm not afraid of them, but it's going to be a hostile environment and a great ball game. Whew. I'll give us a loss. I hate to do that, but, you know, we can't win every game here. And listen, with the Cowboys, a Sunday Night Football game the following week, I'm actually going to give us a loss. We're going to lose 2 football games in a row. But we split with the Cowboys. I ain't letting that sweep happen again. So we're going to split with the Cowboys, in my opinion. We're 4-3 after 7 weeks. But we go to the Buffalo Bills to end the 3-game skid, and we're going to come out on top. So we're 5-3 after 8. That Cowboys game, Sunday Night Football, another nationally televised game. So that's tough. And through the 8 weeks, the first 8 weeks, we have 5 away games. So 3 home games, 5 away games. Keep that in mind throughout the first 8 weeks of the season. We're sitting at 5-3 in Broads' eyes. The Bears come to Philadelphia, and they want that redemption factor. They want to come out and beat us for what happened last year in the playoffs. Ain't happening. Birds, 6-3. Love it. The intensity's going to be there. And same with the Vikings-Cowboys. Like these games, when we're on the road there in week 6 and 7, they're going to be absolute wars. They're going to be wars. They're going to be battles. It's going to be so intense. But I love that. I wouldn't want it any other way. After 9 weeks, we get a bye at week 10. And I'm so cool with that. I am so cool with that. Nice breakup of the schedule. And with that being said, we're 6-3 going into the bye, and we have the New England Patriots after the bye. It gives us some time. We're home for this game. Gives us time to regroup, and then we get a redemption. They get to try and redeem themselves after the Super Bowl loss, of course, coming into our building. And of course, I'm going to say we are going to win the football game. 7-3. Seahawks at home, Sunday Night Football. We're gonna drop this one. We're gonna drop this one. Seattle seemed to give us some trouble throughout the years, and Russell Wilson coming off of that big signing, and he's gonna have a good season this year. I'm gonna write this as a loss. I think we do take a loss at home at some point, which would put us at 7-4 on the season, and that's a 3-game home streak. So you go on the road for 3 games in a row, and then you respond with 3 games in a row at home, with a bye week actually involved on there as well. So you're home for 4 weeks. So people complain about the 3-week roadie. You're home for 4 weeks in a row, which is ridiculous to think about. Week 13, we're in Miami. December, Miami. Oh, that's beautiful. W. 8-4 on the season. And here's where it gets wild. You end the season on 4 divisional games. 4! That's going to define the season. That's going to tell us where this Eagles team is going to be, and it's going to happen so late in the season. It's going to be the backstretch. You get the Giants on Monday Night Football at home. You're at Washington, the Cowboys at home, and at New York. Straight divisional games, and pretty much it's going to be for the division at that point. It's wild. So as we play the Giants at home, we get a whopping 9-4 record on Monday Night Football. We take down Washington 10-4. Cowboys, I ain't letting them sweep us. So we are 11-4 at that point. And I'll say we drop the Giants because, hey, maybe everything's already wrapped up and we finish with 11-5. And I think that's reasonable. I think that's a reasonable prediction for the Eagles. Whether it comes out that way or not, 11-5 is sort of what I'm playing with for the record. Now, one thing I want to talk about. We face 3 teams off of the bye. 3 teams off of their bye. We play the Jets off their bye, which doesn't really concern me to a crazy level. The Pats, which people complain about, but we also come off the bye the same week. So it kind of is washed out, if you will. And Seattle off their bye, which is definitely big to think about. One plane flight, literally one plane flight in the last 9 weeks, which is just Miami. So you go to Miami, and it's Bears at home, the bye week, Patriots at home, Seattle at home, you fly to Miami, you have the Giants at home, you road trip to Washington, which is a drive, Cowboys at home, and you drive to New York. One flight in 9 weeks. I'm not mad about this at all. I'm not mad about this schedule. I think it plays out nice. There are times where there's rougher patches. That's football. That's sports. That's sports in general. The schedule makers are going to be like, all right, let's make the Eagles schedule just perfect, and then everyone else we can maybe screw over here and there. You know? So that's where we are here with the Eagles. I'm pumped. 11-5. Nothing like it. The draft's coming up. I think it's reasonable. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Go Birds, baby!